Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video I have another amazing design by Steve Good for Halloween. Halloween draws ever closer to that spooky night where we can dress up in our outfits if we still do that and just have a great time on that Halloween night. I've already got all the pattern printed out and attached to our material with clear packing tape, and all the material through this project is going to be 3/4 inch pine. Now I am using pine. You can use another example of 3/4 inch material that I can pick up an 8-foot length of pine shelving board for just $10 at the local builder center. And you see I still have a lot left even though I have prepped all of the project. And the design in question is going to be a candy dish for Halloween. The back of the dish has a nice jack-o'-lantern's face on it, and then the front of it has that classic quote of trick or treat. I remember going door to door back in my youth with a classic Halloween candy pail like this here and saying, you know, trick or treat, saying the iconic quote, hanging out with my friends, and then eating all the candy at the end of the day. Those are fond memories to look back on. So this is going to be a great project to put some candy in and put it out at the doorstep or wherever I'm a vendor at during the Halloween or fall season. And the rest of the project is right here. And I know a lot of people are going to tell me in the comments, why didn't I do all of the straight cuts on a table saw? And I did do the one initial cut and had a flush line to attach the pattern to, and I just cut the pattern on the line and attached it with the tape and everything. But you guys know that the table saw on loan to me, I'm hard to press to get accuracy on it like I can over on the scroll saw. So that is why I'm going to be cutting out everything over on the scroll saw. And since everything is prepped, let's move the camera so we can drill all the pilot holes required so we can come back to the scroll saw and start scrolling. And over here at the workbench, I'm taking my Seiko scroller's drill and drilling out all of the pilot holes for internal cutting. And there's not very many interior cuts on this project. The bulk of the interior cuts is in the actual trick or treat quote on the front of the candy dish. But over here at the scroll saw, we will begin scrolling, and I am using a number 5 ultra reverse tooth blade for all of the scrolling throughout the process. It will cut through the pine wood exceptionally well with minimal chip out, which is always good when it comes time for sanding. And as always, I'm taking my time and letting the blade do the work. I know a lot of people do not like using pine in the woodworking world because it can be soft, it can chip, it can dent real easy. But I think pine is a very versatile wood to use, especially for projects like this that will ultimately get knocked around a lot with people reaching in for candy and everything. And as always, I am taking my time and letting the blade do the work. I always think back around this time of year to Halloweens of years past, thinking of all the characters I dressed up as a child growing up, and I always had a different idea every year. One year I went as Spider-Man, one year I went as Zorro, you know, the Latin America folk hero, and I've also went as Ronald McDonald one year for some reason. I just wanted to be him. But just going through here and cutting everything out. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. And if you guys would like to try this pattern, it is a newer pattern release from Steve Good, and it can be downloaded for free at his website at scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com website over in his pattern catalog. And you see me there taking the 3D printed scroll saw jig to double check that the scroll saw is at a perfect 90 degrees. And we will now begin doing all of the release cuts. And this is a project that you need to be as loyal as you can be to the cut line to make sure that once we get to assembly, everything will line up. And of course, over at the table saw, I did true up one edge of the pine material before attaching all the pattern, but the rest of the straight cuts will be cut out completely on the scroll saw. I just felt I could be more loyal to the cut line this way than ripping everything down over at the table saw. And again, we are still using that same number 5 ultra reverse tooth blade, and it's still cutting exceptionally well through the 3/4 inch pine stock we are doing. And I'm just again taking my time and letting the blade do the work.
and being as loyal as I can to the cut line. There is several sharp right angle turns that I'm trying to make as sharp as possible to when we go to assemble the box, everything will slot together and lock together snugly when we get to assembly. But just going through here, and now we are cutting out the final piece here. And I did true up one edge over on the table saw. As I said in the beginning, I just felt I could be more loyal to the cut line over here on the scroll saw, because it is the tool I am the most versed on and as well the most comfortable on. But once all the scroll work is done and we've removed all the patterns, we can begin initial sanding with 180 grit sandpaper and the palm sander here, sanding the front and back of everything. And then we can begin to assemble the box. And I will be using Gorilla Wood Glue as well as my pin nailer. I will put 1 1/4 inch pin nails in my brad nailer to lock everything in place. The Gorilla Wood Glue here is what will do the permanent bond, and putting the pin nails here not only adds a nice rustic vibe to it, but allows me to proceed and finish up the project in a short amount of time. And because we were loyal to our cut line, everything slotted together smoothly and lined up perfectly. But after we have all the brad nails in here, we can start sanding it more thoroughly, and I will use an aggressive sander here to do everything with rough 80 grit sandpaper, and I will go over it. And it wasn't getting the job done like I wanted to, so I switched to my corded power sander here, and it really rounded over all the corners for me, again with 80 grit sandpaper, just to make it a little bit more comfortable, like with smaller hands reaching in to grab a piece of candy and everything, and to just give it a more rounded appearance. And now we are staining everything with Minwax wood stain, and this is golden pecan stain. Someone had asked me about that previously, what color I liked using of the stain. But we will saturate everything and let it dry for around an hour after wiping off the excess here. And if you're very loyal to your cut line, you will have a nice quote to set aside and use potentially for a later project. But once the candy dish was dry, we took it outside and gave it several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss and let that sit outside in the breeze and dry for a couple hours. And then to wrap everything up, we loaded it with a variety of candy for that special Halloween night.
And here we have the completed Halloween candy dish, cut out completely on the scroll saw, and it finished up amazingly well. Thank you, Steve Good, for another amazing and unique design from your scroll saw pattern catalog. Again, this is one of his uploads from 2023, so just keep that in mind. Really, really neat. It took me around 20 minutes to scroll it out completely. It's not a very complicated pattern. It's just with the nature of this pattern, you need to be as loyal as you can to your cut line to make sure everything assembles once you get to the assembly process. The most time you really have in this project is cutting out the quote at the front and also the jack-o'-lantern's face. And also keep in mind, if you or you know someone who's good with Photoshop software or softwares like that, you could easily theme this box to any season you wanted to or event. It does not have to strictly be a Halloween box. It's a great universal design that could fit any style or event, but really, really neat. I finished it with Minwax wood stain and Rust-Oleum clear gloss, and I think the pen nails in it really give it a nice little rustic vibe. And that was key to the assembly process to be able to get this box done quickly today. I used Gorilla Wood Glue in all of the corners here to assemble everything, but then I went back with the brad nailer and locked everything in place. The Gorilla Wood Glue is what's going to do the work in the long run. The pen nails here, even though they're an added feature and really nice, made me able to go about the project and continue working on it. So really, really neat. This will be a great item to put by the front door. I do not have a big sweet tooth, but several members of my family do have sweet tooths. So what they can do is just quickly grab a piece when they come over, put it in their pocket, and go about their visit or go about their day if they're leaving the house or something like that. But really, really neat. I had a lot of fun making this, and I hope you guys like watching me make it. Halloween draws ever closer, and I'm so looking forward to it. You guys know that I love putting on the pirate gear and putting smiles on faces and making memories. And even though we don't have a lot of youth in the neighborhood now, I can take this during the Halloween time if I'm setting up a vendor booth or going to do demos or something, and take this with me and put a post-it note on the front saying free, take one, you know, and people can get that, and I can interact with everybody while they're going through the candy and everything. But really, really neat. I had a lot of fun in this video, and I hope you guys like watching me make the project, and I hope you guys go and try it yourself. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.